We travel so much that it's not often that we step onto a new ground in a new country, but this time we're in Norway.
We're going to be in Norway for a few weeks aboard the Azamara Onward, so come along with us and let's explore Norway.
Join us as we cruise through Norway's best ports aboard the luxurious Azamara Onward. We'll tell you what to see in each of the ports, share essential tips, and give you a peek into the luxury small ship experience. Stay with us because we will take you to a party inside a fjord, take you to a Viking graveyard, share the most stunning locations, and end up at the top of the world. Let's uncover the magic of Norway one port at a time. Our journey through Norway brought us to our first destination, Kristiansand, a city renowned for its surprisingly mild climate. After arriving, we took a leisurely walk through the city. We were saving the big excursions for later in the voyage. We visited the bustling fish market and wandered through the charming Old Town district with its traditional white buildings. Unexpectedly, we stumbled upon a lively street festival adding to the vibrant atmosphere. Our exploration ended in a visit to the impressive Kristiansand Cathedral, where we spent some quiet moments appreciating its architectural beauty.
Well, we've got to tell you, our entree into Norway was a real treat. We spent the day in Kristiansand Norway today, and it's the first time we've ever been in Norway, and we loved it. It's amazing. First of all, it's a gorgeous day, and so we're all here on a Friday. We went through the town, and there's a festival going on. It is quiet, it is clean, people are happy, people are out, and everything we saw, we loved. It's incredibly neat to see kind of this Norwegian aesthetic in the buildings and in everything being just everything you see in terms of Norwegian design, but it's also really neat to see the people. All the cars we saw were electric, so it's quiet. It's clean. People are out and loving life, and they're all way bigger than we are, so we're feeling a little bit short. But so far, our entree into Norway has been great. We're looking forward to a couple of 3 weeks here and can't wait.
While we're here, let's tell you about the ship. Azamara Cruises are renowned for their immersive experiences and focus on smaller destinations. The Onward is the name of one of their 4 ships in the fleet. With a capacity of around 700 guests, Azamara Onward offers a more personalized and upscale experience compared to larger cruise ships. During the video, we will share more about the food and entertainment and much more. Today we have arrived in Oslo, and as you can see, it is a glorious day. One of the things we didn't know about Norway is that something called the North Atlantic Current runs along the coast of Norway, causing it to have some of the most incredible weather in the summertime. Who would have guessed? So let's go explore the city. Oslo truly surprised us with its clean, sophisticated vibe. Our cruise ship docked right in the heart of a stunning shopping and dining district, setting the bar high for the rest of our visit. The modern architecture and trendy boutiques were impressive. We couldn't resist exploring further into the city to see what other treasures Oslo had to offer.
When you come to Oslo, one of the best things to do is right behind me, and that's the fortress up on the hill above the city. And when you get off at the cruise port, it's a very easy walk to get here. The fortress has been here since 1299, and of course it was built way back then. It has a castle. We didn't go in the castle. There is a charge to get into the castle, but walking around here is free. It's beautiful, and it gives you a lot of wonderful views of the city. So when you come here, you got to check it out.
We wandered farther down a main shopping street lined with high-end stores and charming boutiques. To our surprise, this vibrant street led us straight to the iconic Royal Palace. It's definitely an impressive sight, standing tall and elegant, surrounded by lush green parklands and statues. We couldn't resist taking a moment to admire its grandeur. It wasn't an overnight stop, so we had to get back to the ship. Oslo left us wanting more, and we hope to come back and visit this impressive city again. Back on the ship, we were treated to Azamara's variety show that usually kicks off entertainment during the length of the cruise. We got a taste of the pianist, violinist, the dancers, and more. We've arrived in Stavanger, Norway, and in keeping with the theme of Norway, it's one of the most beautiful ports we've had the honor of sailing into. What struck us when we got here were the white wooden houses that cascade down the hills there. But also you have these more modern buildings interspersed with the older ones throughout the city. We can't wait to get off the ship and explore a bit, so come along with us. We're walking through what's called the Color Street, so named because of all the bright colors of the buildings here. According to local lore, supposedly there was a hairdresser who used to work on this street who wasn't getting the best business, and he thought he needed to come up with an idea to really draw more people here. So he got together with some of the other shopkeepers. They hired a designer and they came up with this color scheme, supposedly inspired, believe it or not, by Miami Vice. After doing a little shopping in the rather quiet village, we went back on board the ship for a little entertainment. Part of what makes Azamara unique is their commitment to immersion in the culture they are visiting. In keeping with that, they brought on a local folk singer who sang in both her native Norwegian and English. She was wonderful, and her music is actually available on Apple Music. We're in Rosendal Norway. The ship is unable to dock, so we're going to tender ashore. Now, it's a small village, but it makes for a significant base to explore more inland to see some of the glaciers and waterfalls. So because of that, we're going to take a tour.
We are lucky enough today to be hiking up to this beautiful glacier. We've been hiking for about an hour and a half, and it's a gorgeous journey. It's actually sunshiny today. We actually got hot in Norway hiking up to a glacier, so that's interesting. We were prepared for it to be cooler. Here at the top, it's a little cooler with this incredibly beautiful crystal clear lake. Waterfalls all along the way, and absolutely gorgeous, clean, crisp air. So we got to hike back down, but this was absolutely worth it and absolutely beautiful.
I'm starting to believe I can make a change in my reality. And you, the one I looked up to, is no longer a thing I need in my life. I wish you well, I wish you peace. I hope that we'll find harmony. I wish you good, I wish you well. I hope that this is our farewell. I wish you well.
Back on the ship, Azamara had a little education waiting for us. They brought aboard both a climatologist and a physicist who were able to educate us on the magic of the Northern Lights, which are visible in Norway, but primarily in the winter months. We have arrived in Eidfjord, which is one of the most tranquil and beautiful towns we have seen in Norway. And believe me, we have seen a lot of beautiful towns in Norway. What makes this unique is that it is located smack dab in the middle of a fjord, so you can imagine how stunning that is. I'm standing in front of the Eidfjord Vatnet, which is this giant lake located in the middle of the mountains, and it feeds this river that runs through the center of town. It's really amazing, and we've enjoyed just kind of walking and seeing the sights and enjoying nature here in Eidfjord.
Can you hear my heartbeat calling? Can you feel the love we're falling? Just take my hand and take me home tonight. Throwing caution to the wind, I'll take a chance and let you in. Just take my hand and take me home tonight.
We were standing at the lake and we decided to go a little bit further into the mountains because there was this path. It was pretty steep, but it looked like there was something really cool waiting on the other side of it. And sure enough, we found something that's pretty spectacular. Well, first of all, you can see this incredible field here next to the sheer cliff. Isn't that gorgeous? But what's really remarkable, it's what's on this side. I'm actually standing in the middle of a Viking graveyard. These are graves, these raised areas with rocks on top of them, and they date back to like 1,000 to 2,500 years old. The Vikings used to come and bury their dead and honor them here in the middle of this amazing nature and wilderness. Isn't it fantastic? Today we are docked in Alesund, Norway. The city was destroyed by a devastating fire in 1904, but out of the ashes arose a new city that is known for its colorful Art Nouveau architecture. Let's go take a look. I like this spot right here. So we're underneath what I've heard is called the monkey tree for obvious reasons. You can tell how the branches kind of look like monkey tails. I'm not sure that they're native to Norway, but this is the only place that I've seen them. And then also right behind that, you see a statue, and that's Rollo, the great Viking warrior. He's known for having plundered the British Isles and France and many other places. He's gone down in history here as one of the great Viking warriors.
That up there is Axla, and we're taking the video from down here to give you perspective. That is the highest viewpoint here, and we just climbed it. There is over 400 steps, and it is a workout. My heartbeat was really getting going. I had to take this jacket off, and we did make a couple of stops on the way up. It gives you beautiful views, though, of the area, and it's absolutely something worth doing when you come here. Be warned, though, not everywhere has the best handrails, so pay attention to what you're doing, wear your non-slip shoes, and enjoy the summit.
The hike up the mountain had us famished. Fortunately, Azamara has some terrific food in the main dining room they call destinations. They also try to have food that speaks to the culture and port that we find ourselves in. Our next stop was Svolvaer, a charming town nestled amongst the stunning Lofoten Islands. This region is renowned for its Viking heritage and breathtaking landscapes. We wanted to learn more, so we took an excursion to see more of the islands and learn more about how the Vikings actually lived.
So we're here on tour at this Viking village, and we've loved it so far. But I got to tell you, half of the fun was our way over here. We came probably about an hour on a great bus, and there were some beautiful vistas that come from the port where we are to where we are here now, with some gorgeous lakes and mountains and just everything you can imagine being up here. And it's typically beautiful environment on what we think is a really great day up here too. So we're here now, and it's really interesting because it's a reconstruction of an old Viking longhouse. And of course we've heard about those, but they found the largest one ever here. And it was originally over here, but they've reconstructed it right here behind me. And while this is not typical, these people were incredibly rich. They found all kind of articles here that they actually deduced who it was, and they were very rich traders, and they actually found that because they had glassware, and glassware was incredibly expensive. They didn't find a little, they found a lot. But they've reconstructed it back here, and you can actually experience it like exactly how they did. So inside there's a fireplace with soup cooking and all these different rooms, and the skins and the leather and the artwork and the basket weaving and the dried fish that we hear lasts up to 20 years and you still get the nutrients. So when you get here, you get a really interesting immersion through the reconstruction, and it's really neat because it's not a museum. You can actually go in there and touch everything and play around with it and feel it while the fire is burning with the soup and everything going on. So it gives you a real shot at seeing how they lived against this gorgeous backdrop. So we really enjoyed this today, and it's a must-see when you come here.
One of the absolute highlights of our cruise was our ship crossing directly into Fjord. It's a place where nature's raw power is on full display. Towering mountains rise dramatically on either side of the fjord. The water is an intense blue, reflecting the sky above. It's a place of mythical beauty, and it's easy to see why it's been given such a magical name. But it didn't stop there. Azamara is known for throwing its white party during every cruise, so don't forget to bring your favorite white outfit. Keep it simple and just be prepared to have a good time with lots to drink and eat and enjoy the scenery. At the end of the party, the ship did a 180 and said goodbye to this magical place. Welcome to Tromsø Norway. As you can tell from my sunglasses, my short sleeve shirt, and my shorts, it's pretty warm today and it's very, very bright, which is probably why they call it the City of the Midnight Sun. But it also has a lot of other names. Sitting over 200 miles above the Arctic Circle, it's been called the Gateway to the Arctic. It's also been called the Paris of the North, which is surprising, but for such a city that's so far up in the world, it actually has a lot of culture. So we're going to go out and explore and see if we can find some of that culture ourselves. Of course, you can visit the Troll Museum for a bit of Norwegian folklore, but it was at the North Norwegian Art Museum where we truly gained a deeper appreciation for the region. There we discovered the rich tapestry of the Sami people, Norway's indigenous culture, who we didn't know much about. Their art, stories, and traditions offered a unique perspective on life in this extraordinary corner of the world. We are docked in Alta, Norway. Not only is it a Norwegian city whose name I can actually pronounce, it's also a city that is known for its natural beauty and its culture. The beauty of the scenery here is undeniable. It's also a place where during the wintertime at least, you can see the northern lights. Culturally wise, it's known to have the largest collection of prehistoric art anywhere in the world. We're talking thousands of years old. It's also a center of the Sami culture, which is an indigenous community who have lived and thrived here for thousands of years. We didn't even know that the Sami culture existed until we were able to come and explore Norway. So it's been a wonderful experience and we look forward to learning more.
So we're actually on the back deck of the Alta Museum with this beautiful view behind me. And frankly, when we were coming here, I'd already booked this months ago and I thought, why am I coming to the Alta Museum again? It's only a few hours and is it really worth it? But let me tell you what, when you get here, you'll see that it is. It's not just a museum that has, stuff inside the building, but this beautiful view behind me leads to a trail. It's less than a mile or so where you literally go through and see really old, really old rock carvings. They start at about 7,000 years ago at a certain higher point because that's where sea level was. And then they actually go down a little bit because over thousands of years, of course, the sea level dropped. And you see not only different carvings, but you see progression of those carvings and how they got better at doing them, that kind of thing. There's even some that show this whole scene about how they used to hunt reindeer, and it took through the seasons, like there was a winter season, a spring season, a summer season, where they were doing different things different ways, from fishing to waiting for the bears to come out from hibernation so they could get them. So it's a really interesting and fascinating visit. We took a guided tour and he was really interesting. I think this is one of those things where if you don't do a little research or hear the story, it probably won't mean as much to you. But as these things came to life with him telling these stories, we really enjoyed it. So if you get to Alta, come to the Alta Museum. It's not just a museum, it's this great outside experience where you see things that are really some of the oldest absolutely in the world.
We've taken an excursion to the North Cape, Norway. So we are so far north of anything that we know. So say it with me. How far north are we? Well, we are actually at the most north point of Europe that you can access by car. We're that far. So say it with me one more time. How far north are we? Well, we're so far north that we have spotted a number of reindeer along the way here. Actually, one more time. How far north are we? Well, we are so far north that this is actually officially the land of the midnight sun, meaning that we have had 24 hours of sunlight while we're here. Yes, the sun has never set, so that's pretty far. Now, if you've seen our videos before, you will know that we had some really cool adventures when we went to Cape Horn and the Cape of Good Hope. So those are the farthest south that you can get. So I guess now we've officially been to the ends of the earth. So that's pretty darn cool.
probably not going to believe this, but it is 9:48 p.m. In Norway, and it is crazy sunshine, and it's completely warm. And we're about to watch some of the crew and a lot of other people do a polar plunge as we cross the Arctic Circle, which is a big deal, and we're excited to be here. The sun is shining in my face right now, and it's almost 10 o'clock p.m. This is real up here, guys, so we're excited to experience it tonight. A few hours ago, we were at the North Cape of Norway, and we were up on that mountain up there looking down. And now the ship has actually come around, and we're looking at it from the sea at 10:13 p.m. and we got all the sunlight. So we were just right there, and we can actually see the fence and the area that we were just a few hours ago way up there, and now we're seeing it from down here.